Councillor Rolla, seconded by Councillor Cottick, resolved that the regular meeting commence at the hour of 7 p.m. And be it further resolved that council acknowledges that we are meeting in the Robinson Spirit Treaty area on lands that have been traditionally used by several Indigenous nations. But we would like to pay special recognition to our closest Indigenous neighbors, the community of Pictigon Nishnawbek and Nemitzagamek Nishnawbek First Nations. We wish to recognize the long history of the First Nations and Métis people in our region, specifically, and show respect to them today. All in favor? Carried. Okay, any additions or deletions to the agenda? Any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Cottick, seconded by Councillor Hudson, resolved that the agenda be approved as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Delegations and presentations. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Rolla. Resolved that council is in receipt of a presentation from the Rendezvous Days Committee regarding the event summary and committee update. Okay, we will start with the video. Okay. Welcome. Oh, it's on the screen now.
Apologies. She doesn't change.
Started. Technical difficulties.
Builds the excitement.
The video says it all.
Our job here is done. Hey, good evening, Mayor and members of council. We are Serafina Arboyan and Renee Warren, the Rendezvous Days Committee co-chairs. On behalf of the committee, we are pleased to provide an update on the success of this past year's community festival held the August long weekend. As I'm sure a lot of you are aware, Rendezvous Days has a long historic significance in Manitouwadge dating back to the 1980s, when it was a cornerstone community celebration. In 2024, in honor of the township's 70th anniversary, a new volunteer committee was established to bring this event back to life. The revival of Rendezvous Days proved to be a remarkable success, drawing many visitors home to Manitouwadge to reconnect and celebrate. Attendance this year highlighted the want and need for continued community celebration, and the committee was thrilled to make the commitment of Rendezvous Days return as an annual tradition, marking 2025 as its second year. Some of the event highlights: the committee continued the historic tradition of selling commemorative buttons, which also doubled as a fun way to stay out of the festival's jail. Over 800 buttons were sold this year, which reflects strong local participation and enthusiasm, as well as a very successful fundraiser for the event. Rendezvous Days kicked off with a parade through the town on Friday, featuring floats and displays from local businesses, community groups, and individual participants. The parade brought groups of friends and families lining the streets to cheer on the procession. It was an awesome sight to see residents and visitors gathered in excitement, cheering on the parade, recognizing it was officially Rendezvous Days weekend. The weather held out again this year, so all of our outdoor activities were able to proceed as planned. The stage at the waterfront creates an excellent central location for everyone to gather for a jam-packed lineup of weekend events. There was multiple fun activities happening around the town for every age group: bouncy castle, kids dance, scavenger hunt, inflatable races, rock drilling, talent show, panning for gold, clowns, dunk tank, community breakfast, local talent show, car show, vendors market, and multiple music performances and more. These activities encourage families to spend the full weekend celebrating Manitouwadge together. Once again, this event had a notable positive impact on the local economy. Attendees supported restaurants, accommodations, and other local businesses, while the event itself created additional opportunities for various vendors and entertainers. Through 2020, though 2025 was not an anniversary year, we saw steady attendance and strong community support that contribute to both economic and social vibrancy. The feedback received from residents has been overwhelmingly positive. Longtime residents expressed the appreciation for seeing the tradition revived. We saw newer community members enjoying being a part of an inclusive, welcoming, multi-generational celebration. Rendezvous Days once again reinforced a sense of pride and belonging to Manitouwadge, and we are thrilled to be a part of the positivity. We have also been seen buzzing around the town, supporting or complimenting other community events throughout the year, even when Buzzy and Marvin should be dormant through those winter months. On behalf of the committee, we would like to thank Council on Community Services, the local businesses, sponsors, service clubs, groups, and all the other volunteers. It really does take a village to host an event like this, and without the collaboration, Rendezvous Days would not be possible. We look forward to building the momentum and ensuring that Rendezvous Days is an annual celebration for years to come.
We have questions or comments? No?
I'm at the meeting, so I know what happens.
Councilor Rolla?
No, good.
Well, I want to say that I was at a lot of those events. And yeah, they were fabulous, but after seeing the video, I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of stuff I missed. Like, so there was so much going on, I don't think anybody could have been to everything. So great job, and looking forward to 2026.
Thank you.
Okay, and further that council thanks the Rendezvous Day Committee for their presentation. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes. Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Kotick, resolved that the minutes of the regular council meeting held February 25th, 2026. Excuse me, are adopted as circulated. All in favor? Carried. Petitions, correspondence, reports. No verbal update from the mayor, sorry, I was away. And no verbal update from CAO. Okay, so over to business. Moved by Councillor Rolla, second by Councillor Kotick. Resolved that council is in receipt of correspondence from the Superior Greenstone District School Board regarding protecting local voice in public education. Okay, and just go through it all here.
Yeah, sure, through the chair. So we received this correspondence from Superior Greenstone District School Board. In support of keeping local school board trustees. They are our voice and they are representatives at the school board level. There's proposals that have been made by the Minister of Education to look at either eliminating public school board trustees or to try to change the structure. And so the school board is asking for council support to allow the continuation of having the local trustees as representatives.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. Okay, and further that council received the correspondence from the Superior Greenstone District School Board regarding the protection of locally elected public school trustees, and further that council adopts the following motion as requested. Whereas locally elected trustees provide essential community representation, and whereas rural and northern communities rely on trustees to reflect local priorities, ensure accountability, and advocate for students. And whereas proposed changes may reduce or eliminate locally elected trustees, therefore be it resolved that council affirms its support for maintaining elected trustees, and further that a copy of this resolution be sent to the Minister of Education, the Premier, OPSBA, Roma, AMO, and the local MPPs, asking the government to pause this issue and undertake a full, transparent, province-wide consultation on school board governance models. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Kotick, second by Councillor Hudson. Resolved that council is in receipt of administration report TR 2026-02 submitted by Aaron McGregor, treasurer, regarding the 2026 user fee update. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I'll just talk without the mic.
Yeah.
Before you is the administration report for the 2026 user fees update. As usual, the proposed user fees present incremental increases from 2025's rates to 2026. The full details are of course attached to the report in Schedule A. I'm happy to take any questions about Schedule A. I'll do a brief overview of the report and the major changes. And can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
So I'll give a brief overview of the major changes and then we'll move forward to the questions. So an adjustment guideline of 3% was used when preparing the 2026 user fees, which is a little bit above the 2025 Statistics Canada inflation rate of 2.1%. 3% is in line with some of our increasing costs. In fact, it's lower than some of our increasing costs in some areas. Township administration reviewed the rates in Schedule A to the user fees and made revisions where applicable. In consultation with department managers that are better familiar with all of the details of the user fees. I'll start with the most popular item and we'll move on from there. So the first item is water and sewer charges. We've proposed a 3% increase to water and sewer charges, which is actually commensurate with the projected budgeted year-over-year increase for Aqua services to operate our water and sewer system. It amounts to an increase of $23.65 per year per single residential household, or about $2 per month. And of course, it is to address rising costs. Estimated capital and operating costs in 2025 for the water system was 1.083 million. And our estimated revenues as projected for 2026 are 783,000, so about a $100,000 gap, which essentially is made up on the tax base. Flat rate charges are based on historical usage billings, as we discussed at the last review. High volume users in the past paid a lot more for water and sewer services, and therefore users paying more than $4,000 a year have been exempted from the increase this year. So the 3% increase is applied to all properties that pay less than $4,000 a year for water and sewer charges. There is another industrial property that we've identified as being charged for sewer service, but they actually don't receive sewer service. So included in the report is just that information and ask that council authorize the appropriate account adjustment. And that's it for water and sewer fees. Moving into general administration, some adjustments to some of our administration fees. The 3% guideline wasn't applied across the board to administration. Typically, a lot of these fees aren't changed every year. Instead, some of the fees were deemed appropriate and adjusted by a larger amount because they're not adjusted every year. Highlights include we put forward a new $5 processing charge for e-transfer payments. Interac e-transfer is not currently a payment option that we advertise. However, we have the capability to take it, and we have on case-by-case basis allowed these payments. We want to open it up and advertise it to the community. However, there is additional processing associated with those payments, so we'd like to impose a small administration charge to encourage users to use easier to process payment methods for us. Other items revised include some adjustments to tax arrears administration charges, commissioning services, and tax certificates and confirmation letters. We've increased trailer lot rent by 2.1%, which is the 2026 Ontario rent increase guideline. Of course, applicable notice periods will apply. And we've reworked the user fees a little bit to move billable rates for personnel to one section under administration, because there were just many different areas throughout the user fees, throughout the many different departments where different labor rates, billable labor rates are stated, and just harmonizing it so that it's all in one place, and users of this document can just refer to the one section of the bylaw for those charges. Moving into some of the more fun areas, ski hill and the golf course. We conducted a review of the ski hill and golf course rates and discounts. And across the board, we're looking at increases quite a bit above the 3% guideline, mainly with the intent to try to raise additional revenue on a user fee basis rather than property tax basis. Those that are using these amenities, we'd like to collect a little more revenue to help redirect the burden of funding these services to the users of the services. So we've looked at the discount structures. Essentially what we're looking at is over a longer term adjusting some of the discounts, particularly in the golf memberships area. Youth and legend golf memberships are discounted at 75% and 65% respectively right now. And administration's view is that of course these discounts are valuable and something that we tend to continue, but maybe at a lower level over time. So as presented for this year, we've made a modest adjustments. The discounts are now, as proposed, 71% and 62%, and we're going to work those down a little bit over the years. But therefore, you see in the user fees as proposed, that the increases to those discounted rates are higher than to the general adult rate. Of course, details are in Schedule A, and I'm happy to discuss further if any councillors have any questions. Facilities and programs in the Recreation Department. So we've adjusted community clubhouse event rental fees. There was a new in 2025 event rental fees based on food and beverage spend, and those have had a flat increase of $50 per event as proposed. Family skating passes have been added as proposed for 2026. And while incremental increases are applied to most program and rental fees around that 3% guideline, some were adjusted more. Increases of 6% are proposed for community center facilities rental rates to reflect some of the significant capital improvements that have gone into the facility, the roof and the upcoming stages of the rec center renovation. Public works and landfill largely increased along that 3% guideline. Significantly visually reworked because of the movement of those labor rates to a different section, so it might just look a little bit different than we used to. But across the board, it's around 3% for most items. Airport has been reworked significantly. Again, we refer to Schedule A for more information, but these increases were significantly higher than the 3% to reflect following a review of fees in consultation with our manager of airport services in comparisons to other airports. We feel that there are opportunities for additional revenue. Bylaw department is largely in line with the 3% guideline. Building, planning and zoning also the 3% guideline. Cemetery rates, most of them are also the 3% guideline, with the exception of provincially legislated rates and child burial rates. And that brings me to the end of my summary. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just not sure how some of these are calculated. This is an example. The museum, which only operates 2-3 months a year, pays the same water and sewer as the bargain shop, Canada Post, the IBC, who have employees using water services all year round. I'm not saying the 844 for the museum is too high, maybe, or the other ones are too low. I don't know, but it seems disproportionate that the museum rate would be the same as businesses that are operating all year round. Throwing that out there, I think there should be adjustment. The other one, someone else again.
Go ahead.
So there's two sets of apartments, like 3% is pretty much a standard. But one Deer Place, 57 Station Road, did not increase by the 3%. Now, is that because we're trying to fix a problem we created the year before, we charged them too much? And that's why it's 0? Or it just seems visually disproportionate. Everybody's 3% minimum and they have 0 increase.
Thank you. So through you, Mr. Chair. I'll answer the questions in order. So the first question was about the museum rate. Looking at the museum rate, I believe it's around that 844. So if you look across the board, that is, I believe, and I'd have to double check, but I believe that is among the lower rates. It's I believe the lowest rate for commercial and industrial properties. So the principles behind putting these numbers together, as we discussed during the review of the water meter program, our costs associated with our water and sewer system are more fixed than variable, meaning the amount of water used by a property, we don't see the impact on our costs as being variable with respect to the amount of water used. So what that means is essentially it costs us the same to run a water line to property A and property B, regardless of how much water each of those properties use. And so therefore there is a bit of a floor as far as a minimum that we need to charge properties, because if we adjust lower, and the old system was something around $45-50 per quarter, so you might pay 200 a year if you didn't use any water. But we still have to maintain the service line and the main in front of that property, and those costs are high. And the costs that we pay to Aqua to maintain our system, they're fixed essentially. It doesn't matter whether property is using less water or water. So that's kind of the answer as to why. And you also mentioned occupancy or use of the property only a few months of the year. It's much the same as residential users. We do get questions often enough that, hey, I turn my water off, I'm only in Manitowoc for the summer, do I get a discount? And the answer is no. We charge the same no matter what, because we're maintaining the infrastructure to the property year round. So that's the spirit behind that. Hopefully that answers the first question. The second question is, I'm not sure if I mentioned in my summary, but historically, comment was made that yes, fixing something in the past. Yes, administration's view is that in the past, properties have been higher volume users of water, have been billed more than what the costs reflect. And therefore, properties with charges of over $4,000 were exempted from the 3% increase, because those high cost, high volume properties represent historical very large bills based on volume, when administration feels that volume isn't a reliable indicator of where our costs fall. So I think I've answered everything, but by all means, certainly follow-up questions.
That answer your question?
Someone else.
Go ahead.
Through the chair, I have a question about a new item that's on here. It's for the public skating family passes. So why was this created? Was it something that was requested by families that are using it quite a bit, instead of paying a, per person fee, they can pay one rate and it's better for them? Like, was there just like enough request for it? Like, what was the thought behind?
Yes,
family?
there was interest in creating a family pass, and in discussion with the director of community services, family pass was put in.
So follow up to that, how would it be kept track of? Like, they come in, they buy a family pass at the beginning of the season. How do you know, like, is there a list? Do they have like a swipe card, a punch card, a stamp? I don't know.
I have to direct that operational question to the director of community services. Sorry, I should have pulled the chair.
That's fine. Yeah, so we had some interest, in looking families over the last couple of years about family skating passes, so. We're implementing it, basically for that reason. I don't see there being a high number of people buying family passes, but I think it'll come in clutch for families of, 3, 4, 5 kids that are doing the public skating. So public skating is supervised, tracked, stats are tracked, monitored, all of that. So we'll find a way to manage how we're going to track the users for the family pass. So yeah, and maybe the supervisors provided with a list of people who purchased their pass, and maybe they have a punch card, or maybe they have something like a stamp system, or maybe it is just as simple as a list with everybody's name on it. It's good for the whole year anyways.
Okay, well, it's just, that's to come.
That's to come, yeah.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge next year.
All right, thank you.
If I may add, it's similar to a ski hill pass, or like for a family pass, or a golf family pass. It would be very similar and administered much the same way.
I assumed. Just sometimes you just wonder, like, it's brand new, it's never been done before, so I'm just curious behind it. But there's lots of,
Never been done.
there's lots of families that have lots of young kids now, so I just figured.
Yeah.
that's something to do with it.
Absolutely, yeah, skating's picking up, and good. So we can hope maybe some of the costs for over to families. That's great.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Questions? Okay, that's all.
The only other thing that confuses me, and I'm not saying it be changed now. I'm going back to all the apartments, when there is a rate per building, then the rate for all buildings, I can't compare those in my mind. So I'd like to see it per rental unit. So if there is a building could have 8 units in it. But the one before that is all buildings. And without knowing the number of units per building, I'm unable to get it through here and how to compare that. So I don't know if anybody else had any issues with that, but for me, I have difficulty comparing what a rental unit was doing here and what they're paying in one building, but over there, it's. Understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yeah, and I'm waiting for you to finish, so that,
Thank
and
you,
I'll answer.
thank you.
So, it's very good to point out, and maybe I glossed over it in the summary, but, we do need to review our water and sewer charge framework. These rates are largely based on historical buildings. So over the years, since 2023, the meter rate was in effect until mid-2023. And since then, our rates are largely based on those historical billings with incremental increases. It's a priority for us to look at establishing a new framework. So what you've described as far as units, there are many ways to, for a municipality to put into place a different kind of framework, right? Ours is historically based on the water meter billings, and that's kind of what we're following at this time. Different models can include, some municipalities do look at per person, which again is going back more towards that volume based, which again, administration feels is not indicative of what our costs are, and the goal is to have everybody pay their fair share that we need for water and sewer system. So essentially, it comes down to it is on administration's radar that we would like to look at and establish a framework for. Another item that I don't think came up in your discussion, but some properties change over the years. On the register there, or rather in the schedule, there are some properties that have changed businesses. And over time, we need to monitor those changes and we need to adapt our fees in line with those changes. So all of that to say, we are aware that this fee structure is not perfect, but and we plan on reviewing and bringing forward options for a new framework in the future. Don't have a timeline right now, but it is a priority. And I can provide additional clarification potentially as far as amount of units, but again, also looking at per unit rate, again, also goes back to that volume based. We run one service line to an apartment building, and inside the apartment building it is distributed to different units. The township, it's one service line for an apartment building or one service line for a residential building. Now it might be different size service lines and gets into more public works area of expertise, but that's where we sit. Does that address questions? So. For you, Mr. Chair.
Are you good with that?
The other thing that might be helpful is where there is subsidized housing, people that are needing extra help, municipal housing. It might be helpful to that as well, just to be good suggestion. To me, that would help.
Thank you, and we do have a program for even tenants of municipal housing are eligible for our water and sewer increased relief program. And the intention of that program was to assist with anybody seeing a large increase as a result of us shifting from a water meter system to a flat rate system. And we do have municipal housing applicants, and we do provide that relief to qualified applicants.
Through the chair, just to kind of go along with what Councillor Rolla was saying. So on that part of it. It says, so for one address, it says rate for all buildings, and then it says rate for each building. It's more about the wording, like why does it say all buildings and then each building, like. What's the difference and why would it say something like that?
Sure, so none of this has changed year over year either.
No, but the wording just seems a little bit strange, because it's all apartments, I know they're different designs, but. One says all buildings and then another one says each building, so what would be the difference? Between an all and an each?
Might have to take a second to think of it. There is a reason,
Okay,
and I believe the reason was actually related to property tax accounts. So under the old system, a lot of these properties would have had different accounts for the different even units. But when we moved to amalgamate these charges onto property taxes, it just made more sense to
okay.
list some together and some separately. It did take me a minute, but that is why it looks inconsistent, but there is a reason why it looks inconsistent. I do like to keep things consistent if possible.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Yes, no.
looking at me.
Well, because you were looking at me, so I didn't know if you had another question or not.
I think I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and I would like to commend you on actually raising the user fees for the golf course and ski hill. Reason being, I think that it is, our prices, even with the increase, are more than fair compared to other communities. And you know, like, all in all, you have to cover the cost of running those facilities, so by all means, I'd say, yeah. It's great that those were raised that much more. I know the users themselves are not happy with that, but the overall public, I think, will be. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Oh, sorry, one more question.
So just through the chair, the 3%, sorry to go back to water and sewer, I know it's a big issue, big topic, the 3%. It was 2.5 last year, the 3%, could you explain the reasoning behind that again and not being at 2.5?
Our annual aqua budgeted increase is 3%.
Okay. So that will be. Just on that, that's not, if like we've done budget taxes, that's not taxes, that's just this,
That's right.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
The cost of servicing the water is equal to the increase.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And it's, of course, it's all budgetary, it's all estimates, right? So.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and further that council adopts the attached 2026 user fee bylaw and schedule of user fees, and further that council approve the recommended water and sewer levy adjustment for the 2023 to 2025 for 6 Pick Road. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Bylaws. Moved by Councillor Hudson, seconded by Councillor Rolla, being a bylaw to provide an interim tax levy for the year 2026, be read a first and second time. And furthermore, be read a third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2026-09. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Kotick, second by Councillor Hudson, being a bylaw to provide for the payment of remuneration for the members of council and the corporation of the township of Manitowoc be ready first and second time. Furthermore, be ready third time, pass the number as bylaw number 2026-10. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Coddick, being a bylaw to authorize the use of an internet voting as an alternate voting method for the municipal and school board election be ready first and second time. And furthermore, be ready third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2026-11. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Rolo, being a bylaw to establish 2026 services and charges be ready first and second time. Furthermore, be ready third time, passed and numbered as bylaw number 2026-12. All in favor? Carried. Down to the bylaws. Motion, Councillor Wilson, no closed session. Business addressing closed, confirmation of bylaw. Moved by Councillor Hudson, second by Councillor Coddick, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the township of Manitowoc at its regular meeting held on Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, be ready first and second time. Furthermore, be ready third time, pass the number as bylaw number 2026-13. All in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Rolo, second by Councillor Coddick, resolved that the regular meeting adjourned at the hour of 7:43 PM. All in favor?